going on in the House of Commons today, guys? So today's news story is actually a bit of a brain rot one. It's one where you can just full on switch off your brain and listen to what is going on. It's revolving around this lady called Salma who was sharing a story time on how she got blocked because she didn't invite someone to her wedding. The handle was story time, getting blocked for not inviting someone to my wedding. So as you can imagine, this is going to be brain rot central, and I cannot wait to dive into this because tomorrow's news story, or the days after news story, is a little bit more heavier. So we're wanting just to like sprinkle in some brain rot every now and again. This is the perfect drama for it. So grab your coffee, grab a snack, grab whatever, and let's just dive in, shall we? So there's this woman called Salma. It says attorney, story times, life advice, your big sis looking out for you, and she is a 2026 bride. Now, how many bridezillas have we covered? How many wedding dramas have we covered? So many. The minute people start getting married, A, things cost more, and B, catty behavior starts coming out, and people were really ganging up on Selma, like really ganging up on her, and they still are. And I just want to figure out whether you think it is justified or not.
So someone blocked me because I respectfully told them that they were not going to be invited to my wedding and we should talk about it, because I've seen videos like this and I always just didn't think that would ever happen to me.
Okay, so the backstory is she was invited to a friend's wedding 11 years ago. Okay, apparently it was a great wedding. She was invited. She was a lot closer, she says, with this friend 11 years back. Since COVID, we all kind of know how it's been, right? COVID sent everyone into like different planets, okay? I really do firmly feel that the world has never actually recovered from the effects of COVID. But anyway, different discussion for a different time. Her friendship kind of fell a little bit like by the wayside, and she hasn't really been in great communication with this friend since 2019.
But I have not seen her since 2019. And on top of that, all of our correspondences since COVID time have all just been like sharing memes, sharing Taylor Swift news occasionally, but like nothing of substance, no phone calls, no hangouts. So I literally posted, obviously on social media, that I was engaged. And so she reached out. We had pleasantries. Like we talked about it. It was great. She was very nice.
Now, what she is saying is that their conversations lack substance. And to me, if I was listening to that, I would assume that that just meant that our friendship was nothing of substance anymore. Just connecting the dots. So Salma didn't really think that they were as close as what they once were. So when Salma posts her engagement announcement on her social medias, this friend reaches out to her really excitedly and is like, oh, I hear that gas prices are going up, so do you know when the wedding will be, just so I can book it in advance? You know, she's willing to fork out the big ones to make sure that she is there for Salma's wedding.
She said, oh my God, you're gonna have your wedding in 3 months. And she said, well, I think gas prices might be going up. So can you give me like a better idea of like what weekend you think you're gonna have your wedding, so I can start looking at flights to try to like beat those prices? I decided to, like, guys, I already have people that I talk to a hell of a lot more, have a stronger relationship with, but like at some point you have to make some choices. And if I haven't hung out with you since 2019, I haven't had a phone call with you since 2019, and our entire relationship is based on memes since 2019. I understand you invited me to your wedding 11 years ago, but I don't think that immediately like requires me to invite you to my wedding.
And now obviously Salma has now said that their conversations were nothing of substance, and she doesn't really consider her a close friend anymore. So she basically has to let this friend down, apparently gently, although we're going to get onto that in just a second. This friend gets really upset with her and ends up blocking her.
Then I get this whole like, I don't understand the rules of etiquette. She invited me to her wedding. She didn't know our relationship had deteriorated that much. And then I tried to respond, but instead, when I tried to respond, it didn't look like it was delivered. I realized I was blocked on Instagram and blocked on TikTok. So being engaged is a joy. I'm so excited about this whole process.
Now, the thing that strikes me is that this friend was looking at tickets. She was fully prepared to part with some money to make sure that she was there for the wedding. She obviously had Salma at her wedding and she wanted to extend the invitation back, and yeah, she was willing to dive into her pockets to make sure it was going to happen, which I do think is quite nice. And like I said earlier, I feel that COVID tested a lot of friendships. For me anyway, I lost contact with a lot of mum friends who I would see at the school. Couldn't really see anyone for long periods of time, and everyone was in like their own little bubble. So I do understand that COVID kind of really brought out, you know, if you didn't see them all the time, if you didn't live with them, I would say worked with them, but a lot of the time people were working remotely. If you weren't in someone's bubble, we have bubbles here in the UK, then you didn't really, honestly, for about 2 years, it was really hard to maintain contact with people who you were once friends with, unless you saw them if they were in your bubble. Literally, not even joking. So I do kind of understand how friendships would fall out. Likewise, I am of the mindset that you don't have to invite everyone and anyone to your wedding, especially if there's a limit. Now, Salma says that there's like a 200 guest limit, but TikTok were not happy. I'll just read out a couple of ones because I don't want this video to get bogged down with reading comments, just so you guys can gauge what people are saying. We had comments like, she was willing to buy a plane ticket for an old friend. I wish I had that. Valid. Someone else said, I feel bad for her. She was just trying to be a good friend. You'll find that quite a few people will flake out on you the closer you get to the date. The fact that she wanted to be there for you, even though you guys don't live near each other or talk much, tells me she is a nice person. Flabbergasted to be learning some people think memes are nothing of substance. No, because this is so funny. So I have a select few like best mates. We've been best mates since like beginning of teenagehood kind of thing, and we're still really close. Well, we will have different messaging systems for different things. So TikTok is just literally just to send like memes and TikToks. We'll then have Instagram, which is a mixture of voice notes and memes, and then Facebook is purely just voice notes. So we kind of like, but we do have TikTok where we'll just send memes. Anyway, my point is, some people connect via memes, and that might sound really stupid, but I do understand where she's coming from. And someone said, honesty without compassion is cruelty. And Salma says, my texts were not compassionate. Because here is the thing, Salma then goes on to share the exact text messages that she had sent this friend.
So a lot of you are upset about my delivery and the fact that I told her what the head count was. So I'm going to just show you the text messages. Yeah, I did talk about the head count. I did tell her she was uninvited, but here are the exact messages.
I'm feeling bad for this friend. I'm feeling a bit bad for her. You know, allegedly they don't live that close to each other. Sometimes friendships drift. However, I do understand that not everyone is entitled to come to your wedding. But if she's willing to buy a plane ticket to be there, what is one more extra person? Do you know what I mean? You might as well just go, yeah, haven't seen you in a little while, but if you're willing to make the commute, all the power to you, do you know? At least that's what I'd do. Okay, so Salma says, I want to be completely honest, and I hope you will give me some grace, but I will only be allowed to invite around 120 people tops for the wedding, and you know my family is huge, so I don't know that I'll be able to extend an invitation to the wedding to you. I would absolutely do it if space wasn't going to be such a glaring issue, and I really hope you don't take it as me not including you. I just really don't think I'll be able to include a lot of people that I thought I initially would have, just because of space issues. If we are able to alleviate any of the space issues, I will absolutely reach out. And the friend said, so you are saying you aren't inviting any friends at all? Just family? That would make me feel better, but it sort of seems like you would be inviting both, which is why I'm confused. Yeah, because this friend still thinks that they are on a friendly basis. You know, she invited Salma to her wedding. It might have been 11 years ago, but whoever. I mean, I'm going to be honest. There are some people within my family who I have literally only met a couple of times, who I only really see at weddings in the family, and they'll be there, and I'm close, and I know full well that I'm closer with some friends than I ever was with those family members, but they'll still be there. Salma then says, I mean, I am inviting some friends, of course, but I had to limit that number significantly in order to accommodate the head count. I'm just saying most of the head count will be family, which is why I am being forced to make hard decisions. I'm really not trying to upset you. I'm also not trying to be defensive. But last year, when you had that girls' trip with people from our old group and didn't invite me. I didn't make it a thing because you also said space was restricted in Airbnb and you couldn't invite anyone else. So I don't understand why this is different. Yeah, okay, so this is the part, and I wanted to wait until this part to be able to talk about this part so as not to spoil anything. But yeah, so the kind of thing that's making me go, Salma kind of does have a point, in my opinion, is that the friend did in fact host a girls' trip, but didn't invite Salma. Now, if that was me and I didn't get any invitation whatsoever, I would just assume that maybe our friendship wasn't as close as it once was. Like, are you in that category to still be invited to weddings? However, just out of procedure, you'll have family members that you literally barely even know going, but because it's, a cousin of a whoever, you feel obliged to invite them, but really you're not close with them. But then again, some families, despite not really knowing each other very well, are very close-knit. So I understand everyone's situations are completely different. My point being is that I think I would be a little bit like, well, you didn't invite me on the girls' trip. Not only that, but it was the girls' trip where it used to be an old group of mates. Granted, they do live far away from each other. I'm assuming that Salma has moved out of where they all grew up because these guys are all together. Maybe they just assumed. I don't know. But that had me questioning. And the friend said, it is very different. This is a wedding and not just a girls' trip. You need to be for real, 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 real. That's okay though. I get to see your true colours now. Good luck with that. Why can't we see the rest of the message? Rest of the message, we can't see. Yeah, kind of made me go like, you know what? Maybe Salma does have a point. Now, bear this in mind, people are still saying that Salma does not have any point. No point is being made here, and actually, like, girls' trip and wedding are very, very, very different. You should know etiquette.
Honestly, like, I am taking the perspective that I felt like I tried to be as nice as I possibly could and indicate that I valued the friendship. I also brought up the fact that I did bring up the girls' trip that I wasn't invited to, because to me, if you go on a girls' trip with people that you know are mutuals and you don't invite me, then I'm going to assume our friendship really isn't that strong. I know some of you were like, girls' trip, wedding, completely different things. Like, yeah, but doesn't that also tell me like where I fell in her book? I don't know.
Now, with this whole etiquette thing, does that still extend to the fact that you're not as close? Like, what happens if, like, in this situation, you were really, really, really close, one of you goes to the other one's wedding, but then you're not close anymore? Is it then, you're then bound by this non-contractual agreement to then invite the other person? I don't know. I feel like that is just a lot to have to work around in my mind, because a lot of the time, if not most of the time, you are also paying for guest expenses. Some people who are richy rich even go as far as paying for accommodation. Okay? Some people be really having the money and they'll be paying for the accommodation, a lot of the time paying for food. Some have free bars. Big fan of the free bars. So yeah, you got to kind of think about like the head count and the money wise. But to be honest with you, if I had someone that was kind of kicking up this much of a fuss and they were willing to buy the plane ticket, I would overlook the whole girls' trip, because it's like, well, you clearly like do care and you do want to be there. I don't know. Do you guys think differently?
Guys, I have at least 100 first cousins. I need you to register how big my family is before you make really insensitive comments like this, where you're absolutely flaming me. 200 people sounds like a lot to you, but when you have over 100 first cousins, your parents were both of one of at least 9, you're super close to so many of your family members. You have siblings who also have families, and you have nieces and nephews to consider. Plus, I have a fiance who is going to take close to half of that head count. So now I'm at closer to 100 or 110 people I get to invite. So I have to make hard decisions when it comes to a family that I am very, very close to. My parents did a really good job of making sure that we were really close to a lot of our aunts and our uncles and our cousins, and we spent most of our time with them. On top of that, I have really, really good friends who have spent a lot of time nurturing our friendship over the last decade. So why wouldn't I choose them over somebody who has sent me memes and only memes since 2019? Just some food for thought. But unless you have an enormous family that you're close to and you're like somebody who takes the villager perspective very seriously, I don't feel like comments like this are like super fair.
Because yes, Selma does go on to say that she has at least 100 first cousins. 100 first cousins! Now, I don't really have anything to do with my dad and his side of the family. Allegedly, I have quite a lot of cousins over that side, but I only have two first cousins on my mum's side. 100 first cousins. Wow, that like big family, just on her side as well. That she's got to try and accommodate. So then, how do you know? How do you know who makes the cut in that regard? Like, how many friends do you have going? She must. They must just have the wedding full of family, because I think his family are also quite large as well. Like, they both have sizable families. And they're very families. So they want to make sure that the whole family's arrived, like first, second, third cousins kind of thing.
Okay, so I'm being absolutely dragged by the internet right now, which is a unique experience for me, but I want to address a couple things. First and foremost, I recognize that my first video was very off-putting. I should have characterized that video differently, presented that video differently, or not even posted it, okay? I acknowledge that. Number two, the text messages that I posted, some of you were like, I get it. Some of you were like, you definitely should have reworded XYZ, and I 100% agree with you. There was a much better way for me to send those messages regardless of her response.
Now, she does say that she wishes that she had worded things better in the text messages. I do agree. I do feel like she should have come at it a bit more compassionately. I don't think she was expecting for the ex-friend now to have gotten so defensive. But after she got blocked, the friend then saw the TikToks and the backlash that was going on. Allegedly, the friend had actually made an Instagram reel, and then Salma then made a TikTok video, and then the friend then took down that reel. I tried to find it, by the way. I desperately tried to find it, but no one has recorded it, reposted it, or anything. So sadly, can't get her side of it, but apparently she like filmed and was having a bit of a bitch and a moan about Salma, and then she then took it down once Salma's TikTok went viral.
Next, a lot of you are really hung up on the fact that she blocked me. Like, you were like, she 100% should have blocked you. Why would you not be blocked? I never ever said she was wrong for that. Like, some of you were really running with this idea that I was criticizing her decision, when in reality I just said she blocked me. But she has since unblocked me. We are now talking. She knows I'm making this follow-up video, which is why I've waited, because she unblocked me a couple hours ago when she found these TikToks, watched me get dragged, and she was like, this is amazing. I'm actually loving this. And so she has given me grace, unblocked me, wanted to reach out, wanted to talk, and she's taken down the Instagram reel where she named and shamed me yesterday. Some of you might have saw it. But yesterday, before I posted my video, she posted a video where she actually like posted my name and my Instagram handle and said some stuff. So if you did see that video, great. If you didn't see that video, you're probably not going to at this point. And so we have kind of moved on. With that said, 200-person wedding is not that many people. If you are from a culture of Arab or South Asian, like, you understand that 200 people is not a lot. I'm super close to my family. So with my family alone, that is going to make up the majority of the half that I get out of that 200. My fiance also comes from a big family. So I'm maybe gonna have 100 or 120 people tops. And then I do have some friends, but they are my best friends. They are not meme friends. They are my ride and dies. So they are my priority in inviting.
I will just add that Salma is really hung up on the fact that she has this friend who's like a meme friend. I feel like we all need meme friends, but whatever. Meme, not mean. Meme friends. She's really hung up on this thing, but it's like, at any point, did she ever contact and try and arrange to do stuff? I'm assuming that Salma did move away and the friendship just kind of faded, but maybe her friend didn't see it like that. Maybe she just doesn't. Maybe she has kids and, you know, life got in the way, or maybe she started a new job and life got in the way. I don't know. But there seems to be a lot of emphasis on the fact that she was a meme friend and all of this. But like, who was the one reaching out for connection? Because Salma has been saying that, you know, they wouldn't offer to meet up or wouldn't offer to do anything. And it's like, yeah, but well, you also offer him. You could very well have also been being a meme friend. Okay? But I don't know.
It's all very petty. Do you know what I mean? This is what I mean. Low stakes, just brain rot drama. Because I reckon after all this, Selma's going to end up inviting her mate, because they would have realised that actually they were hurt by the drift in their friendship, and actually they probably will be at their wedding. That's just what I'm thinking. The friend has unblocked her, saw that she was getting attacked online, thought it was kind of funny, and has decided to forgive her, which, you know, whoever, whatever, as long as they're happy. I just don't know. Do you know, like, I was fully on friend's side until then I found out that actually her friend didn't invite her to something, along with other people. I'm not saying that's not an excuse to, you know, not invite her to the wedding, but it would give me questioning, food for thought on whether our friendship is that deep anymore if you're not being invited to something alongside people that you know. That's what I'm thinking. I think that, to be honest with you, I think that both of their reaction was just way too much. I think Salma was being really defensive, and the friend just massively overreacted. It could have kind of been spoken about a bit better, but whoever, like, you do you. I didn't really think about the fact that some people take the wedding etiquette thing quite seriously, because, well and truly, you can have people at various stages of your life, who come and go. Like, you can have friendship fallouts, you can move away, you can not be as close. Does that mean that you're forever bound to, like, inviting someone to the wedding if you went to theirs, what, like 20 years ago? Does it I don't know. I don't think I'd personally mind too much. However, this girl was willing to pay a lot of money to get on a plane to go to this wedding. I would have just snuck them in. Would have snuck them in and boosted up the head count, because if someone's willing to pay in, like, quite far in advance to be at your wedding, then yeah, let them in, sneak them in. But that's all I got today. And I would love to hear everyone else's thoughts and feelings about this. What do you guys think? Whose side are you on? Is there even a side to be on at this point? Because I'm a little bit confused. But yeah, thank you so much for watching today's video. I hope you guys have a fabulous day wherever you are in this world. Take care of each other, take care of yourselves, and I will catch up with you guys in the next video.